Alright, so you can start up today just by clicking on that Demo House Chapter 2 floors. Alright, we got a little practice project we're going to use just to begin. And then once we go through some content here, we'll go back and we'll work on putting floors in the activity house. Okay? So, with the demo house, you have exterior walls, you have interior walls, so everything's exactly the same as what we were building. Yeah. The only real difference here, you have a couple of doors and windows in the project, and that's actually what we're going to work on next, but just gives you a little heads up on what you're going to do next. Alright? And I'm going to keep floors really, really simple, so we're not going to go too crazy here. I want you to go to a 3D view. Okay? And if you go up to your architecture tab, we were just working with walls. Like I said, doors and windows are coming up next, but if you kind of scroll across the screen just a little bit, you should see an option here for floors. And I don't want you to click on the button yet, just hover your cursor over top of it. Alright, but the main way to create floors, the number one most commonly used floor drawing tool here, is available for you just by clicking on this. It says creates a floor for the current level of the building model. Alright, there's also a little down arrow which lets you create a couple other types of floors, and you can do floors like a slightly different way. So the first one, the first tool, this is the button you're going to be using. Okay? So just an architectural floor. It's another type of floor down here called like a structural floor. So this would be like a poured concrete floor. This is most likely going to be used in commercial structures and things like that. Alright. We have this other thing called a floor by face. So it's not uncommon sometimes when designing buildings for us to make a building massing model. So we build just like a rough building mass that kind of represents the form or the shape of the entire building, and it might be really big. Alright, and then we can kind of divide that up into sections and add floors that way. And then there's another element down here. It says floor, slab, or edge. So that might be if there was going to be a poured concrete slab and the foundation was like a continuous foundation. Alright, so that's also kind of outside of our realm right now. So real easy.
At this time, all seniors should report to the auditorium for the presentation. Again, at this time, all seniors should report to the auditorium.
Seniors, just put your stuff back in the folder. Leave it on the desk. I'm recording this. You can go back and do it later. Alright. So, for us right now, we're just going to click on that floor architectural tool. Okay, and it says, what are the 4 most common floors we may use in a house model? Again, this question is a little bit subjective. Alright, I'm going to say the very first most common one. We'll just go with the wood joist 10-inch wood finish floor. Alright, so you can write that one down. Wood joist 10-inch. We'll go wood joist 10-inch to start with. And let's just go ahead and click on the wood finish 10-inch, and we'll jump ahead just a little bit. Jump ahead just a little bit real quick. Alright, so what I want you to do is I want you to double click on your first floor plan. Alright, and if you notice, you're still in that floor creation mode. Alright, you know you're in floor creation mode because Revit kind of takes over a little bit and infers, since you clicked on the floor button, that you want to draw a floor. It brings up all your floor drawing tools, right? And the way we draw it is by drawing a boundary, and then the computer kind of fills in the floor in that space. So you have this little green tab and it says create floor boundary. You have all your modified tools that we just went through. You have a bunch of line drawing tools as well. Alright, and there's a lot of different ways you can draw the boundary for a floor. You can draw it with just lines. You could draw a rectangle. You could draw an inscribed polygon, a circumscribed polygon, a circle. You could do arcs. Put a little round on the corner of the arcs. You could draw this thing called a spline, which is like a curve referenced by a bunch of different points. Alright. More commonly though, you have this other tool that says pick line. So if there's a line that exists, you can just select it. Alright, and then this one's really good too. This one's pick walls. And this one's actually a really good tool for building floors, because you're going to build your floor in reference to walls. Your floor is going to be underneath your walls. Alright, a lot of times when you're building a house, you're just building a layer cake. Alright, so you want to pick like the walls. You put the walls in first, and then you can pick the walls that you want to use. So let's try that one. Let's use the pick walls tool really quick. Alright, so click on that little pick walls tool. Looks like a wall elbow, and one of the walls is selected green. And what you can actually do is you can hover your cursor over top of those walls, and depending on which side of the wall you hover your cursor in on, kind of defines or tells Revit what side of the wall you want that boundary line to be on. Alright, so if I hover my cursor in from the outside, I should see like a little tiny pre-selection line, a little light green line that's like dashed. Alright, and what I want to do is, I actually want to just kind of hover my cursor in, and I want to select each of those 4 walls around the outside of my project. Alright, Revit automatically makes a corner on there. If we look at things in 3D right now, kind of looks like that floor sketch is really, really low. Well, that's probably because over here in my constraints, it's set to level footing. We actually want that to be on first floor. Alright, if you hit the little green check mark at that point, we now have a floor that's underneath our building. Okay, if by some chance you accidentally built your floor on the wrong level, that's really easy to do. It's really easy to change. So check this out. All you have to do is select your floor. So you can't pick in the center of a face, but you can pick on a corner. So you just select it. You know that it's selected because it's highlighted in blue. Alright, and you simply go over to where it says level. And then right now, there's an option that's selected. For some of you, you probably built it on the footing level. Alright, just change that over to first floor. And that's going to put your floor right underneath your project. Okay? Now, a couple things here. Alright, and we got to go back to the worksheet. Alright? When we click the floor tool, and you went to the first floor floor plans, and you started drawing lines. Question 3 asks you, what are 2 ways to create a floor? What we did was we drew a sketch that defined the floor. So I would say by sketch. What are 2 ways to create a floor? A is going to be by sketch. So what are 2 ways to create a floor? So 3A is by sketch. Another one was kind of hidden in here, and we're not going to use it very often, so I'm just going to give this one to you. But you can also make a floor by face. So if there's a surface, you can actually just select a surface or select a plane, and you can turn that plane into a floor. So it's going to be by face. See that word face right there? Face, it's like a surface. Okay, and we're not going to be doing that very often, but at least you know that it's possible. Anybody need 3A or B? Alright, let's go back and take a look at question 2. Question 2 has to do with the structure of the floor. Alright, and the floor that they have there sectioned out is actually your wood joist 10-inch wood finish floor. So that's like the most common floor that I tend to use. All right. It's always possible to go in and customize that type of floor if you want to change the thickness of the wood joist, all right, or the thickness of the wood sheathing, or if you want to change the thickness of the flooring material, or if you want to change the flooring material to something else. You can customize all that stuff. You can customize the thicknesses of the materials, and you can customize the materials themselves. All right, but the general structure of floors are going to be pretty consistent. You're going to have the structural layer, the wood joist. All right, so this is like a 2x10 down here. That's going to be C. So you can write in there wood joist or rafter. Let's just call it a joist. Wood joist. You can even write 2x10. And that's going to be C to C. And then moving up on top of 2C, we're going to have plywood or sheathing. That's B, sheathing or plywood. And then up on top, let's just say flooring. So on top of the sheathing, you have your flooring. Depending on what type of flooring, that's going to be a little bit different potentially. All right, in a bathroom space, what kind of flooring do you want? Do you want like wood flooring usually? What do you want in a bathroom space? Shag carpet's probably not a great option either. Tile? Why tile? Yeah, so you might spill some water on it. Hopefully not other things. How about like right when you walk in the front door? Right when you walk in the front door. Well, you probably want to have something that is resistant to water. Hold on, freeze for a second. Am I hearing bad language from some of you guys? Hope not. You can have wood. You can have wood down, but for the most part, like you want to try to keep it, I think, same kind of thing, like someone coming in from the outdoors. If you have a front porch, or you can have like a mat or something like that for wiping your feet and coming inside, maybe. Okay. But we don't want to bring in, I don't know why I'm fighting over you guys. Keith, do you need to go sit someplace else? What? We're all talking about floors together. Yep. Alright, cool. So we're good on that. You might need different types of flooring in different places throughout the house. Alright? Now look, one big thing that's on here, and this is kind of like just a side note, and this is something that Revit doesn't do very, very well. It can do it, but it's a little bit more difficult for you guys. So, the way a building actually goes together in real life. Like the way the components actually work. Alright, this would be like my foundation. This is like my concrete block wall or poured concrete foundation. Alright, off of that, we're going to have this thing called a mud sill. So the mud sill is going to sit on top of that, and it's going to get bolted into the foundation. So you have these little anchor bolts that are poured in, alright, or come out of the foundation, and the mud sill gets attached to it. And then your floor sits on that. Your actual structural floor, the wood floor joists, sit on top of that. And then you have your sheathing. And then inside the house, that's where your flooring's going. But your exterior wall is going to sit on top of the edge of the floor. Now look over here on the outside. See how you have like your siding? If you're siding, you have like a little insulated barrier on this particular one. But your siding goes down and it overlaps on the edge of the floor. You guys see that? Alright, so that's one kind of a tricky little situation in Revit. Okay, so to do this kind of correctly, like if we were actually taking a look at how this works, one thing you can do is you can pull your siding down so that it goes over top of the edge of the floor. I think I have that set up in the project for you guys. I'm not quite sure. See if you can do that. You probably can't do that in yours. Can anybody do that? I might have taken that off. If there's going to be a deck or something affixed to it, we might not pull that siding all the way down. We might actually like affix another porch or have that like tied right into. What's up, Michelle? Sure. I don't know if I have that set up on your computers. Alright? So, a couple places like where we kind of have to cheat just a little bit. Alright? In Revit. And this is going to be like the way I have you guys doing stuff. Alright? When you build your floor in the model that I'm about to show you. Alright? Or the one that you're going to actually use. What I want you to do, check up on the screen here really quick. Alright? The boundary for the floor isn't going to go like right underneath that structural layer of the wall, like underneath the framed out portion of the wall. It's actually going to go and overlap straight up on the outside edge of your siding. Alright, so anytime you draw in a boundary for a floor in the activity house, I'm going to have you go like right up against the exterior wall. So it's going to support completely the exterior wall. Alright, I really don't want to see any difference in the surface on the outside of the building. We're just going to cheat this a little bit. Alright, so we're doing that in Arc 1. And later on I'm going to show you how to come back and you can actually just put like a siding material right on top of the exterior wall. It's just a little bit easier for you guys. Makes your life like a little bit easier. Alright, and we can cover that up pretty easily, okay? Because that little side or edge isn't something that you can easily fix. So I'm going to show you how to do that. But one thing I want you to do, I just want you to make sure that you put that floor underneath the outside, okay? All right, last couple questions, and then you got a little practice activity to start working on. 4 minutes, that's it? All right, that's easy. So we're going to go up to floor. Let's put in another couple of commonly used floor types. Alright, you can put down wood joist, ceramic tile. So in the sample project that you're going to work on, there's, I think, a mud room where you're going to use that 10-inch ceramic tile floor. So just by sketching the ceramic tile floor in a specific location, we can build that in instead of the wood joist floor. You have let's see, you have a concrete slab. So any place where you have a garage, you can put in that concrete slab. And we can put in the carpet finish too. So if you want to put in the carpet finish, that's fine. I think that's kind of a bad question. I didn't author that question. I don't like how it switches over from a 10-inch wood finish to a 12-inch carpet finish. I don't really see the point in that. I think they should all be the same joist, but it is what it is. So you have 4 different floors that I just referenced. You have the 10-inch ceramic tile floor, you got the 10-inch wood finish floor, you got the 12-inch carpet finish, and then you got the concrete slab. Alright? I'm going to take like 2 seconds to just talk about what the activity is. You guys can put the papers back in your folder and get ready to head out. You don't have to save that practice project for today. Alright, so when you get back in here next time, what's up?
Do you want the one that I fixed?
Okay. Yeah, is your name on? Just get ready to head out the door. I'm going to just go over like one thing here really quick. Alright, so the project that you guys are getting, you're going to open up the activity house next time I see you. You have that set of plans I just gave you. Alright? And you're going to change, well not change, but you're going to draw in 3 different floors. So you're going to put one floor underneath the main part of the house. It's going to be a wood finish floor. You got the ceramic tile floor that's going to go in this little mudroom area. Alright, and then you're going to put the concrete slab in the garage. Alright, so you got 3 different floors that are going to all go in that particular project. Okay? I'll blast through it one time just so you can see it. And then you guys are doing that. Leave your folder on your desk. Don't line up at the door. See you later.
Have a great day.
Bye, guys.